Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Kevin FAGAN, and I'm the principal at Greystone Elementary School. And thanks for taking some time to join us. We're going to try to keep this efficient, just out of respect for everyone's time, and we'll be here for just about an hour. I'm going to go through some introductions first and kind of share with you what our purpose is tonight, and then we'll kind of go from there. So on the call with us is our superintendent, Dr. Scanlon, our director of elementary education, Dr. Sarah Missett, director of pupil services, Leanne Ranieri. Mr. Mark Groves is the project manager for Greystone. And then we also have two district employees on the call with us tonight, Mrs. Sandra Bradley and Miss Hilda Matos, who can help us with translating to Spanish for any of our families that might be on the call and would prefer to interact in Spanish. You can do so by entering your questions in the Q&A portion, and someone will be happy to respond to you. Goals for this evening, part of it just frankly is putting a name with a face. Maybe you've seen one of my videos that has come out already, or you've seen the picture around, but perhaps not. So here I am, Kevin FAGAN, and I'm very excited to be here. And then, as I mentioned already, we do have some other district personnel on the call tonight. You can see them and kind of put a name with a face in case you don't know them already. We want to answer questions that were sent to us last week. We'll go through those. We'll have an opportunity to answer other questions that you may have. As I alluded to just a minute ago, there is a Q&A option, probably at the bottom of your screen there. But if you think of questions as we go through tonight that you want to ask, you can put the questions in there and someone will respond to that. And then I'll share with you contact information as we go through this. You don't need to take notes tonight. Don't worry about writing anything down or typing. We are recording tonight's presentation, and I will be posting that recording as well as the PowerPoint itself by the end of the week. So if there's something that I go through tonight and later on you're like, what did he say? We'll post that so that you have those notes and kind of know what's going on. So with all that being said, let me hand it over to our superintendent, Dr. Scanlon.
Thank you, Dr. FAGAN, and welcome everybody. It is a pleasure to be here. I wish we could be in person, and with vaccine schedules out there and some changes in some transmission rates, hopefully as we turn the corner this summer and get ready to open next year, we'll have a little bit of a more normal year next year. We would much rather be in person, but thanks for being with us tonight. As Dr. FAGAN said, we're in the process of opening up a new school. It's an exciting time, and we're happy to have you be part of that. You don't get many opportunities in your lifetime, or your kids really in their school careers, to be the first to christen a new building. So the first to walk through those doors, the first to eat in that cafeteria, the first to be out on the playground. The first to just go through those hallways and just enjoy this new structure that's being built. We have Mr. Mark Groves here tonight too. He has been our point person for the district out of our facilities office. Knows every nook and cranny of that building and can tell you anything structurally about it. And so he's here to answer some of those questions. Our assistant superintendent Bob Sokolowski is here. Been a big part of our school system with helping with all of that. Dr. Leanne Ranieri, our Director of Pupil Services, also overseeing some of the special education services that we provide. And Dr. Sarah Missett, whom I said to Sarah, Director of Elementary Ed, as we were going through the pandemic earlier in the fall, I said, Dr. Missett, we still need to get this school open. So through all of this pandemic, you got to really need to ride point and make sure that we get things staffed and keep things moving ahead. So she's here as well to help us. So thank you so much again for all of your help in helping us with this transition. For those of you who are relatively new to the school district, thanks so much for choosing Westchester. We are in a big enrollment growth spurt right now. We are right about 12,000 students now, and our projections show us in the next 5 years approaching upwards of 13,000 students, which is why we are building a school to try to provide some of that relief at our elementary schools. And we're going to make this as smooth as possible. Again, it's a state-of-the-art facility. It sits up on a hill. For people that may be moving into the Greystone development, we're already starting to see students enroll from there. We welcome you to the district if you're new, and if you are if you've been here for a while, thank you so much for making that transition from schools that you love to a school that everybody is going to create and love just as much as any of our other 10 elementary schools. So with that, let's talk about a couple of things. The construction timelines, and people want to know: are we gonna make it? Are we gonna be on time with the school and getting it open? Yes, we are. We anticipate sometime in mid-July to have final occupancy permits. We did have a little bit of a delay during the pandemic, as many construction projects did, because we had to shut down last winter or last spring, right as the pandemic began. But we were able to catch up with some of that with some good weather for us as well. Staffing is a process, and of course, hiring Dr. Fagan as our principal, he's been involved with staffing. So he's been working to hire staff. We go through a process internally where we ask for people who may want to transfer into a new building. We last did this when we opened the Ruston High School in 2006, where we had to transfer some staff out of our other two high schools into Ruston. We do that with a combination of looking at some veteran teachers that are in there, and then also some of our newer teachers. We want to make sure that we have a good combination of some veterans and some of our newer teachers in the building. So we're going through that process, and once we finish that, we'll get a list of all the people who are going to be the teachers. Some of them you may know from the buildings that your children are currently attending. So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Fagan, and he'll talk a little bit more about some of the questions you may have.
All right, thanks a lot, Dr. Scanlon. All right, so I thought I'd start off with a little bit about me. I've mentioned before that I lived in Westchester for some time now, about 15 years, along with my wife, Krista, my son, Jack, my daughter, Charlotte. You can see us there in that picture. This is from the summertime, and I chose this picture in part for two reasons, really. One, it was taken at the beach. We like to spend, time at the beach in the summertime. And then I have a little tan going on, and I'm wearing a hat, so I look a little bit fresher and younger. So that was part of the selfish motivation, honestly, behind picking that picture. But this was during a miniature golf outing, which we did for Jack's birthday. That was his wish. As most of you probably know, I was the principal at Westchester East High School for about 8 years. Really excited for this transition, really excited to get into the elementary world. And, I've spent my career seeing how things wind up K-12, and I'm really excited to see how they begin and work with younger students on that end. And then just, in the core of my leadership belief is that culture is paramount. It is the number one thing. So school culture is key. And my goal is to work together with the students, the staff, and the families to build and develop a school that kids love to go to. They feel safe, and they just love it. So that's what it's all about. So that's the goal. I mentioned at the outset that part of the purpose of tonight was to answer questions that came to me last week. I had sent a Google form out to our families and invited you to submit questions, which you did, and thank you for doing that. I want to take a few minutes now and go through some of those questions. There are 12 of them, and I just did bullet points here. I'll be kind of brief, and again, we'll be posting this recording and the PowerPoint. You don't need to memorize this stuff. You'll have it available to you later on. So I'll kind of go through these. Dr. Scanlon touched on this already. Will the school be open on time for the next school year? The answer to that is yes. We are basically on track, thanks in large part to Mr. Mark Groves, Mr. Kevin Campbell, and all the many workers that have been doing a tremendous job at the school, really hustling. For the past couple of months, there's been no heat in that building. So whatever temperature it was outside, that's the temperature it was inside that building when they were working. It's been cold, and my hat's off to them. They're doing a great job, and basically we're on track. We will serve students K through 5 And ultimately, we'll have about 600 students at Greystone. I don't know that we'll have that next year. We are allowing incoming 5th grade students at Fern Hill and Mary C. House to remain at those schools. And I certainly understand why some of those students would want to do that. I get it. Selfishly, I would love to have them at Greystone with me and have 4 full 5th grade classes. We'll see how that turns out. Question number 2, maybe the most popular question that I get is, where are the kids going to play? Because if you drive by Greystone, you can see that it is a full-fledged construction site. If you saw my video that I released today, we spent specific time talking about the playground area and where that's going to be. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, I did send a video link out to our families today, so it should be in your email inbox. But if you take a look at that, the playground area is going to be one of the last areas that is finished. Right now, it's a mound of topsoil. There are construction vehicles and other type of equipment. So it's going to be there for a little while yet. The asphalt area will be ready this summer. We're planning on putting in some basketball courts and some other things that kids can do on asphalt. The grass area will be seeded this summer. But as with any new grass area that you would install, it's not going to be ready for a couple of seasons. So probably for the grass area, looking at spring, early summer of 2022. In the meantime, we're very fortunate that there are grass fields immediately adjacent to Greystone that are owned by the school district. So we will have grass area for the kids to play. There are steps that go down from Greystone to that grass field, and we can use that. So we're lucky to have that. The courtyard area, you've seen me feature that now in the videos that I released. I'm excited for this location in the building. It's going to be tremendous.
Dr. Scanlon, are you viewing the slide that says question 3?
Yeah, where is the staff going to come from? And I talked a little bit about this at the beginning of the presentation, that we go through a process that
It looks like Kevin,
we ask
Dr.
our
Fagan
staff if
froze up a
anybody's
little
interested
bit.
to transferring into the new building. This year, because of the pandemic, and because we did open up a cyber program, we actually hired some new teachers to be part of that cyber program. So many of those, and we did that knowing that we're going to need the staff for next year when we open up Greystone. So we were fortunate to be in that position where some of the new teachers that we've hired this year we'll be able to retain and keep as we open up another building for next year. Obviously, we're gonna need some more teachers. So we go through a process, ask our staff if they're interested in transferring into a new building. We then take all of that list. We look at, again, a combination of having some veterans, try to have a good mix of staff in the schools. That would include a librarian, that includes a counselor, that includes the gifted resource teacher, it includes the special education teachers, K to 5 teachers. So we go through that whole process, and we're almost through that in terms of going through it, talking to some different teachers who are interested, and then putting together a staff that we think is going to make a great combination to welcome the kids next year. So a lot of excitement, just as the kids and the parents get a chance to open up a new building. It's a great opportunity for our staff to open up a new building as well. We'll finish that up in April, and then we start the process for the rest of the district. Once we do those transfers, we then have to backfill some of the openings in the other schools where we've transferred people out of, taking into consideration retirements that are coming up. So it is quite a process, and our human resources department will be extremely busy from the mid-April to right up until about mid-August, when we finalize our new staff, and we welcome our new staff on our new teacher academy. Go to the next slide.
Hey, Dr. Scanlon.
Oh, you're back? Okay.
I'm back.
Welcome back. You're unfrozen.
Sorry about that, everybody. We almost never lose Wi-Fi, and it's Murphy's Law. As Dr. Scanlon said, they can't wait till we're doing this in person again. So sorry about that. Thanks for your patience. And Dr. Scanlon, thanks for jumping in there. So busing, one of the questions I got was, how will busing work? There's a district policy that says that we will bus all of our students who are outside of a 1 mile radius to any of our schools. But really, there's other factors that we have to take into consideration, such as the type of roadway and some other things. And I'm happy to report that all of our students will have the opportunity for busing to Greystone Elementary. That includes, Caswallen. I had that specific question, that community. We will bus from Caswallen, and then within the Greystone community itself, we will be busing from within Greystone. Oh, next slide. Can students walk or bike to school? Absolutely. That's up to you as a parent. If you're comfortable doing that, you can make that decision. We did purchase bike racks for the front of the school. I think they'll be used, and if we need to get more, we can certainly do that. Next slide. What safety measures are in place at Greystone? I could have continued with this in terms of the things that we do to keep our students and staff safe in each of our buildings. And the things that I'm listing here are not necessarily unique to Greystone. These are things that we've implemented at all of our elementary buildings across the district. They look a little bit different sometimes depending on the structure itself, but some of the things that we do to keep everyone safe. There is only one entrance to Greystone. That'll be that main entrance. Anyone coming to the building who wants to get in, just like you've experienced with our other buildings, they'll have to be buzzed in. They will not go directly into the school building itself, into our hallways. They'll be funneled. All of our guests will be funneled into the reception area, the main office area. They'll be checked out by one of the secretaries, and we'll kind of go from there. And that goes for anyone visiting during school hours. We have emergency egress windows throughout the first floor of the building. What that means is extra large windows that can be easily opened and removed in the event that people would need to get out through the windows. School play areas will be fenced in. We have 12 security cameras throughout the building. We'll be doing monthly emergency drills. That's an example of something that all of our buildings do. And then just continuing our really close relationship with West Goshen Police Department. That's a police department that I've worked very closely with. They're tremendous. We'll continue with that report. Next slide, please. So how will class recommendations happen? Most of the students that are coming to Greystone are coming from one of two buildings, Fern Hill and Mary C. House. So parents are interested in knowing how are we going to get course recommendations, or class recommendations, I should say, from teachers. We will be doing that. Their current teachers will have an opportunity to make, give input and make class recommendations through a system called Class Creator. This is something that all of our elementary schools are using right now. Tremendous system. It's basically an algorithm where we take input from a variety of different fields and we create the classes. So this year's teachers will give their input, make those recommendations, and then we at Greystone will have access to that information throughout the course of the summer. And then we'll take our time putting classes together. Again, a lot of information goes into that process. And then we'll be notifying families of class assignments, teachers, just like we always have been in August. So we'll be right in line with our other elementary schools. Where are the students coming from? And I touched on this before. About 300 of our students are coming from Fern Hill Elementary, about 100 from Mary C. House, and then the rest are students who are either moving into new communities that are being built or are just moving within the district to the Greystone area. And I think I mentioned earlier tonight that ultimately our school will be right around 600 pupils. Next year, we're anticipating that we'll have probably 3 or 4 of each grade, which is great. As far as I'm concerned, the more the merrier. But we are, we're building a school, as Dr. Scanlon said. It's exciting. We're building a school. We're building a whole new community. And that's going to be everybody pitching in and everybody working together in one direction. We're coming from different places, but we are Greystone Elementary, and we want to build a school that our kids love, and that's going to take everyone working in one direction, which I know we will. Will Greystone have a PTO? Yes, and I want to give a special acknowledgement to 3 of our parents who really took initiative and kind of got us off the ground. Kate Cipriano, Erin Harrington, and Brianna Lotta reached out to me some time ago and just anxious to help and get the PTO off the ground. They've been doing a lot of legwork. Really appreciate everything they've done so far. Because of their efforts, we're in a really good spot. We have bylaws that are written. We've got, the beginning of a plan that we're developing for our PTO. But we need more help. We need more parents involved, and there are still open seats on the executive board, plenty of committee seats. We have ideas, but we need everybody involved, and we want everyone involved. So to that end, we have a meeting coming up on April 8th at 6:30 p.m. That will be virtual. And prior to that time, we'll share more information about that. But if you want to kind of mark your calendar. And then we have a second meeting that's being planned right now for May 4th at 6:30. So I just wanted to put those 2 dates out tonight for everybody for planning purposes. You're thinking about getting involved, committee work, there it is. And then there's also the Greystone PTO Gmail. If you have any questions about PTO, you can send it to that account and someone will get back to you. And then there's a volunteer form. And again, you'll have access to these links once I publish the PowerPoint later this week. Next slide, please. Are we an early or a late school? We are a late school. We looked at this closely. This was one of the top probably 3 questions that I got. Are we going to be an early or late school? So we are late school, 9:10 to 3:40 p.m. You can drop students off beginning at 8:30. And then, yes, we will also have a child's place. And that program will run just like it does at our other schools from 7 a.m. To the beginning of school and then after school till about 6 p.m. What's our mascot? So good question. This is not something that I just wanted to pick. I really wanted to get everyone involved in this. And, like I said, because we're coming from different schools, different backgrounds, I thought that this could be a really cool way to get all the students moving in one direction and excited. And so what we're planning is toward the beginning of school, kind of putting this to the student body and creating a contest of sorts, but really kids working together. I'll give them some parameters about what we should be doing. Maybe we won't use a mascot that's already being used in the district, and there's some other parameters that I would put in place for the kids. And then giving them the opportunity to come up with ideas. Maybe they're working together with another student, or a couple of students are doing that together. They're presenting their ideas. And then ultimately, I'd love to see this culminate in a field day celebration, maybe late September, early October. Get the parents in, get the staff involved, of course, and just kind of something celebratory and happy, and unveil our mascot. So I'm looking forward to that. I think the kids would love it. And again, I think it just energizes the building and kind of gets us moving in the right direction right off the bat. But we're going to need help. So going back to, getting the parent volunteers, I have this idea, but there's a lot that goes into this, and I certainly could use your help with that. And then the last official question here on the PowerPoint is, what can we expect between now and the first day of school? So there's a lot still to be done. Mr. Groves and his crew are going to take care of building the building. They're doing a great job. We are ordering furniture. We'll make sure that we're furnished. We're going through the staffing process, as Dr. Scanlon outlined earlier, and we'll continue communicating with the school. I'll be updating with the community, I'll be updating you in the newsletter, the homepage. I'll continue to email our families. I'm trying not to overwhelm you, because I know you have a lot coming at you right now and a lot of emails coming your way, but I want you to feel informed and kind of know what's going on. And if at any point you have questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I do include my contact information in this PowerPoint. I think that's coming up in the next slide or two. And you may have seen in today's communication, if you're looking to start, showing off the Greystone shirts and other swag, we do have our online store. We are up and running. It looks great. And I would encourage you to check that out and, you know, start advertising our new school. And then here's some contact information, my email, phone number, kind of just down the line. We do have a homepage. If you go to the district homepage, it's one of the schools that you can plug in and get that information. We're on Twitter now. And if you have registration questions, as I mentioned before, Ms. Hilda Matos is on here. That's her email. She's the point person right now for registrations at Greystone. She's tremendous. She can answer whatever questions you might have, and we're happy to help in anywhere that we can. Next slide, please. So thank you for joining us tonight. Let's see if you have any questions that we have not gotten to.
Dr. Fagan, can we explain again Caswallin? And I know that we had a conversation with Mr. Scully today with regard to walkers from Caswallin.
Yeah, thanks. We will be busing. I think the question came up, Dr. Missett, because Caswallin's pretty close to
Very,
right?
yes, correct.
So there were families asking, you know, I think they probably knew it was within that 1 mile, and, you know, are we going to bus from there? The answer to that is yes. We will be busing from Caswallin. Again, because even though it's within that 1 mile, that roadway is considered hazardous by PennDOT standards. So we would be busing from there.
Thank you. That was the question.
Okay. And I see
Kevin, what would the secondary color be? Have we decided upon that yet?
Yeah, so most of our elementary schools the official school color is one color. I think we have a couple that are 2 colors, and the high schools and the middle schools are all 2 colors. I'm not sure why that is, but for the most part, the elementary schools have one official color, and then there's usually like an unofficial complementary color. And you'll see in the apparel, if you go to that online store, I'm basically using either white or black or a combination of that, trying to highlight the gray, because that was the choice from the community when they voted on the school color. So our official school color is gray. Complementary colors will be white and black. And Mr. Cromwell has plugged in there the link for the school store if you're interested in looking at that, and then the link for the PTO volunteer form. Okay. Hey, sorry again about the Wi-Fi issue. Sorry I got cut out there. That never happens. And of course it had to happen tonight. I look forward to when we're doing this in person again. This is not my first preferences. I know it is not for most of you, but I really appreciate everyone, you know, getting on tonight, and I look forward to working with this community. This is super exciting. You know, school districts are not really building new schools anymore, right? There were so many schools built in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and populations have sort of leveled off, but in this area they have not. We're building a new school. It's super exciting. It's daunting, but I think it's going to be tremendous for the community, and I can't wait to open school. Honestly, sometimes I wish we could fast forward to the first day of school and just be there with all the kids and all that energy in the building. But you know, we can't manipulate time that way, so we'll just use this time wisely to get ready for a great opening and a great school year.
Dr. Fagan, a late question came in about registration, and I was wondering if you or Ms. Matos could just give a quick summary of the registration process.
I'll let Hilda do that, since everyone has heard my voice too much tonight, and she's the expert with this. So Ms. Matos can answer questions about registration and how that process works.
Yes, I can answer the questions about registration. The process for registration is the same as the process in all schools. You have to go online, create an account. In the Westchester website, on the top right corner, you will find the new student registration icon. Also on the website of Greystone website, is on the same spot on the right corner, on the right top corner. You create an account, put in all your information. If you are not able to upload the documents that are asked there, There's 4 basic documents. It's a proof of residency. We need 2 of them. One has to be lease, deed, or mortgage. A second proof of residency that can be any utility bill. Birth certificate, immunizations, physical and dental exams. Those are the documents that we need to be able to register. If you are not able to upload those documents, you can send it to my email that was shown before, hmatosperez@wcasd.net. You can send it to me and I will upload them for you. At this time, we are not able yet to fully finish the registration in our system. Maybe in mid-July, we're gonna be able to finalize registrations. But I can assure you that if I don't contact you from now to July, that means that you are fine, you are fully registered or I have all the documents that you need. If you don't upload or you don't have all the documents in the system, I will contact you or maybe some other person at some point, but right now it's me. I will contact you requesting some documents. And basically that is the process for the registration.
Thanks, Hilda. And once we have families registered, they'll be added to the email distribution and they'll receive the emails that are coming from me.
Correct.
There's a question in here, a couple questions about walking, and I think maybe I was not as clear as I could have been. So I think the questions pertain to, can kids walk to school? The answer to that is absolutely. That's at parent discretion. Do parents need to walk with their children? That again is at parent discretion, completely up to you. If you feel like your child is old enough and you're feeling okay about that, that is totally fine. Question about the houses that are at the sort of beginning of the new development, and there's a cut through, I guess. You can walk to school or you can bike to school. And again, we'll be providing bus transportation, which you can use. You don't have to use that everywhere. So whether we're talking about Caswallin or within Greystone, the school district is planning on offering busing to all of our families. Do the children at Greystone, do the children who currently at Fern Hill need to register again? No, you don't. Those children will be, that information will be sort of moved over to Greystone. We've identified those families, obviously, so we'll move that information over to Greystone.
Same with Mary C. House.
Yes, same with Mary C. House, thanks.
Same with Exton.
You do not need to re-register.
Correct.
Just monitoring this. So I'm not seeing. Question, can we walk if we want to? Absolutely. There'll also be a car drop off. I know some of our parents will want to drop kids off in the beginning of the day. So if you've driven by, you may have seen that sort of winding road that comes up from the development toward the school. That is the main way to get in and the main way to get out. Once you haven't had the opportunity to see this yet because it's a closed construction site, but you will. Once you kind of get up over that hill, the buses will go one way in the morning, parents will go another way in the morning. So once you get up sort of where the school is, you're not going to parent drop off and the buses are separated. You're not going to be mixed in there together. And then similar at the end of the day. So kids can walk if parents are comfortable with that. Bike, it's fine. Bus, drop off, whatever your preference may be.
Dr. Fagan, how about addressing the question of the crossing guard? We talked about that today.
Yeah, so we looked into that. I looked into that because I wasn't sure of the answer, but the school district does not provide crossing guards. To the best of our recollection, at some point, we think that there was a crossing guard at Hillsdale, and that person was provided by the borough. But I don't believe that's still the case. I don't believe the borough is still providing that crossing guard. So no, the school district does not provide crossing guards.
I do know that the bus stops in Greystone in the development will happen at designated areas in and around those 2 circles. So if you live in Greystone, do we need to indicate, I can't see that. If we would like to ride a bike, to ride a bus, or will that be assigned regardless?
Yeah, so great question. The school district will assign kids to buses because we want to make sure that, you know, there is a bus assignment for every kid. Even if some families aren't planning on using that, there might be times when you need to, we want to make sure that we have busing, but you can elect not to use that as a parent. So yes, you'll get a bus assignment, but no, you don't have to use that. You can simply let us know when they come out. Typically it's mid-August that you are not going to be, you know, you don't plan on riding the bus, but that seat is sort of there for you in case you need it.
Dr. Fagan, do you want to mention that we have a meeting set up next week for students that may have an IEP and that will answer specific questions?
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Ranieri. I think that was on the slide when I got booted off earlier, but we have set up a meeting on this coming Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. I put something out to families last week and I indicated that I would send something again this week. I was going to do that tomorrow so that I didn't confuse people with this meeting, but Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m., Dr. Ranieri and I and a couple other folks will hold a meeting specific to parents with special education and ELD type questions. So if you have questions about transition, you have questions about services, that's an opportunity. We anticipate that being a live Zoom because we think the audience, the number of people in the audience will allow for that. So I'll send something tomorrow to that effect.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Fagan, it looks like all of the questions in our Q&A have been answered. And we provided in the chat link some of those extra links and email addresses for you to contact. So there doesn't seem to be any outstanding questions at this time. Thank you to our panelists who helped answer questions during the presentation tonight.
Hey, Chris, thanks a lot. And thanks everyone for joining us tonight and for helping and for all the questions. And thanks to our parents and students for getting on tonight and listening. And again, if you have any questions or anything, you have my email address, krfagan@wcasd.net. You have my phone number. Just reach out to me. I'm happy to get back to you. So thanks everyone and enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.